What's going on, everybody? David here, back with another live stream. Thank you guys all for stopping by. And so we will get started momentarily. Just first off, let me know that you can hear me. Let me know that you can see me in the chat so I know everything is working properly. If there are any issues, please let me know. But we're going to get started. And we'll probably start in about 5 minutes. I like to give it a little bit of time for people to get into the room before we start. But what we're going to talk about today, so negotiations looks like they're starting to listen to each other. We were in a situation this whole week where we had people on both sides just not listening to each other, and so it was one of those situations where it was like the Democrats were saying we have the HEROES Act, and the Republicans were saying, but we have the HEALS Act. And then the Democrats were saying, but we have the HEROES Act. And so they were just going back and forth like that. And nothing was really getting done when it came to, okay, well, what do you have in the HEROES Act that you are that you're not willing to depart with? And same thing on the other side. What do you have in the HEALS Act that just has to be in this next package? And so that's what we're looking at. We're looking at this is going to have to be a combination of both packages. You're not going to be able to just walk in there and just say, okay, everything on the Hill. I mean, the Republicans and Mitch McConnell, when he came in with the HEALS Act, he just thinking, okay, here's the HEALS Act, let's go. This is urgent. We need to get. I mean, people are they're not going to be getting their enhanced unemployment. They're not going to be getting this. We need to move. And so that's not the way to negotiate. Obviously, he knows that, but he's just trying to push something through without thinking, okay, well, what about the other side? What do they want? Because I don't even think he even looked at the HEROES Act at all. It was dead on arrival, right? I don't even think they even reviewed it. It would have been smart for them to do that because then they could have created the HEALS Act with a lot of what the HEROES Act had in it. But that's not what happened. So yeah, like I said, we'll be talking today. We're gonna do. I'm gonna show you 2 videos, and then I'll also show you just the first part. Mitch McConnell had he was interviewed by a radio station. So I'll play I just want to play the first like 10 seconds of it. I just thought it was pretty amusing, and then we're gonna talk about. We're going to talk about this whole situation and how it looks right now. I mean, we're in a time right now where I think politicians really need to be careful about what they're saying and what they're doing at this present time. And so we're going to talk about that. And that's part of the little 10-second clip that I'm going to show you. And then part of what the president, what was said about the president today, because I think it's interesting. Just the optics. Just think about what's going on in the world right now and what's going on in our country right now with the pandemic and people losing their job and the economy and all this stuff that's not good right now. What are they doing? You know, what are the politicians doing? Because I think that's very, very important for us to look at, because it kind of gives you an idea of like, do they really care? Because if they did care, that maybe they'd be doing different things. So that's what we're going to be discussing today. Looks like we have a full house already, so that's good. Please, guys, if you can hit that like button for me, I'd really appreciate it. That does help with the YouTube algorithm. It will push this video out to more and more people. I think this is the first live stream I've done on a Saturday. I'm not for sure, but I think it is the first one. So it does really help. If people aren't anticipating a live stream about stimulus checks on a Saturday, if you're hitting that like button, it's getting to them. Those notifications are going out to them. So they can see what's going on. And I see Gail already put purple here. So guys, I have not lit my background yet, so let me know what color you like. Let me do this here. Show you guys the colors that we have to select from. Block my face there. So those are the colors. Those are all the colors that are available. I might start making this a super chat thing. The highest super chat gets their color in the background. I shouldn't even say that because somebody's going to take me serious, or maybe I am serious. I don't know, but yeah, we're going to have the backdrop. We're going to have the backdrop. We'll change the color, in a little bit after I see what you guys like. Maxine Johnson, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. I've been having a rough time, but these live streams give me hope. Thank you very much. That means a lot to me. And that's what we're all about. I mean, well, that's what I'm all about. I won't speak for other YouTubers, but I really enjoy just being here. Live streams are like my thing. That's what I really enjoy doing. Unfortunately, YouTube, they don't really promote live streams the same way they promote other videos. So that's unfortunate, but I do like being able to interact with you guys and talk about different topics, and I can do it fast. Like, I don't have to put a video together, edit the video, and then publish it. I can just go on live and say, hey, guess what? I just found this out 10 minutes ago. So I really like doing the live streams, and I like the fact that you appreciate what's coming on. I try to give you as much hope as possible. Sometimes the news isn't good, though. That's unfortunate. In the last couple of weeks, the news has not been the best, but I try to at least look at some of the positive things that are coming out and put those out there, as well as the negatives. We have to face reality here. We do have some negative stuff that's going on right now, and I think the silver lining on this whole situation is this is an election year. And so we have an opportunity, whereas we don't always have this opportunity to hold someone accountable within months of all this. So if things aren't going right and you feel that way, then go and elect new people into office. That's all I can say. I don't care if they're a Democrat or a Republican. If you don't like what they're doing, if you don't like what your politician's doing, if your politician's not getting back to you, you're sending out messages to him telling him, hey, you know what? I had to go to a food bank yesterday because I'm out of food, and you guys are not coming up with a plan for, as far as another stimulus check, as far as enhanced unemployment. And if they're not responding back to you, that's a big sign. That's a sign that you need to vote for someone else. And I always recommend you do your research, know who you're voting for. Don't just vote for someone else just because you don't like the other person. But this election can really send a message to a lot of politicians. And we're going to talk, like I said, at the end of this live stream, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Now, I do want to talk about some housekeeping issues, or not issues, but some housekeeping matters. I will be doing every day, 7 a.m., I'm going to be putting out a video, okay? So I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to put myself on a schedule. Before, I would just put out videos kind of random times. But I will be putting out a video at 7 a.m. every morning, and that will be for the foreseeable future. And so that's a commitment that I'm making to you guys. And so that will be happening. Now, the only problem with putting out a video at 7 a.m. is things can change later on that afternoon. And so that's when live streams come into play, and that's when putting out another video comes into play. So there could be a situation like when I was in high school, we played football. We used to have, over the summer, we used to have two-a-days. We called it Hell Week. So we had to do two practices a day. And so it's probably going to be something like that, where I'm going to do a video in the morning, early in the morning at 7 a.m., and this is Pacific Standard Time. So 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock on the East Coast, and then do another video later on that afternoon if there's some changes, significant changes, and maybe even do a live stream on that same day, or just do the live stream in the afternoon. So that's the plan. One more thing, with the live streams, I like to set up kind of segments where we'll talk about certain things. And some of those things I like to create a video from that. So make like a highlight video where it's maybe 5 minutes to 10 minutes long, and then I can put that out as well. So I'll be putting out videos like that. You guys probably already saw a couple of days ago I did that. So please, if you guys have already watched the live stream and you start watching the video and it's like, oh, you know what, I remember him saying this, I don't really need to watch it again, that's fine, but just hit the like button. That way it promotes it out to more people. Because what happens is when I do a live stream, that live stream goes out to about 25 to 30,000 people will see that live stream. If I put out a video, I'm usually getting between 50 to 70,000 people watching that video. And so more people are seeing that. And so if more people are seeing that, and if I do the highlights, then I'm reaching more and more people. So that's the reason for me to do the highlights. I understand if I do a 1 hour long live stream, you know, people, not everybody's going to be able to sit and watch an hour long live stream. I totally understand. But if you see a 5 to 10 minute highlight reel of the live stream, then you might want to watch that. So that's why I do those. All right, guys, let's go ahead and before we get, I'll change the light color after we watch the video. So we're going to watch a couple of videos here, and I'm gonna try not to say anything throughout the video, but if something just hits me and I have to say something, then I might stop the video and just say something. But the first people we're going to hear are Chuck Schumer. So let me just kind of lay this out for you guys. So right now we're going to watch the videos. We have Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. Those that will be the first interview. And basically, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Stephen Mnuchin, and Mark Meadows, they had a meeting today, and they're negotiating. They're continuing to negotiate. So on a Saturday, they're working, which I think is good. I mean, that's the way things should be. If you don't get things done, you missed the deadline yesterday for enhanced unemployment, come in on Saturday, see if you guys can come to some type of an agreement. So I'm all for that. I think that's sending the right message. Not everyone's sending the right message right now, unfortunately, but at least they're playing a role. So we're going to listen to them first, and then after that, when I say them, I mean Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi. Then we'll come back, we'll talk a little bit about that, and then we'll go into Stephen Mnuchin and Mark Meadows, their press conference, and then we'll talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to go into Mitch McConnell, and we'll play the first part of this radio interview that he had. I believe the interview was yesterday. So right now, just understand, obviously not everyone's in the room. Mitch McConnell is not in the room right now negotiating. He is the majority leader of the Senate, which means he controls the Senate. He calls things to the floor. So once they have this proposal ready to go and they have the numbers, they have at least the majority, 51 votes, then he can bring it to the floor. Now, he's going to want to get a filibuster-proof bill, which means he's going to need 60 plus. So he's going to want to have those type numbers, because senators can play the whole filibuster game where they basically just get in there and they start reading the phone book and just wasting time and kind of just, all these expirations and things like that will be happening, and they're just going to be trying to stall, basically, until they come up with an agreement. They'll just stall. So he does need Democrats to support this bill, and that's the main reason why there's a lot of talking with the Democrats right now, because he needs the Democrats. All right, let's play the first clip here.
Longest meeting we had, and it was more productive than the other meetings. There are many issues that are still very much outstanding where we're apart, but we had a serious discussion and we went down piece by piece and saw where each side is at. The staffs will be meeting over the weekend, tomorrow, to go through some of the things we went through, and we will meet again on Monday. We're not close yet, but it was a productive discussion. Now each side knows where they're at, and we are going to work very hard to come to an agreement that meets the needs of the moment. We still believe, and we discussed this with them, that this is one of the greatest problems America faces, and we need to meet those needs in a very, very serious way. That just saying we'll do halfway doesn't work when people need homes and need jobs and need housing and need help. Nancy?
Thank you. Yes, central to all of this is to defeat the coronavirus. And very central to our HEROES Act is a strategic plan to do that. If we have testing, tracing, treatment, distancing, mask wearing, sanitation, and the rest, we can lower this. This is a freight train. It's exponentially, the numbers are increasing of people who are affected and people who are dying. It has an impact on the economy, and the lives, the livelihood, and the life of our democracy are at risk and affected by this coronavirus. So we cannot take as we address the economic concerns of our families, there is a solution. And God willing, we will have a vaccine one of these days soon, a matter of months, but people can be infected and die in the meantime, and the impact on our economy. We saw yesterday the numbers that talked about the impact on the GDP. And what we are doing is not only trying to arrest the virus, but to invest in the economy as we help America's working families. So today was productive in terms of moving us forward. As the leader said, our staffs will be working to theirs and ours to have some clarity in some of the issues, and we'll meet again on Monday. But it is, again, we have to get rid of this virus so that we can open our economy, safely open our schools, and to do so in a way that does not give a cut in benefits to America's workers. Here we have this challenge, and what they were saying before is, we're going to cut your benefit. That's one of the, shall we say, discussions we're having. Okay?
I said to them, if 1 million people are without food, you don't say, let's compromise and give 500,000 people food. If there are 1 million people, 1 million small businesses hurting, you don't compromise and say, we're only going to help half of them. But on the other hand, we had really, it was the best discussions we've had so far. And I'd call it progress, but a ways to go.
That's right.
Okay, is that fair?
That's good.
Okay.
But the fact is that this week, for the 19th straight week, over 1 million Americans filed claims for unemployment insurance. Millions of people are food insecure in our country. Millions are on the verge of eviction. People need resources in order to meet the needs of their families. So it's very important for, as we come to, this is not a usual discussion, because the urgency is so great, health-wise, financial health-wise, and again, the health of our democracy, because our elections will be affected by the coronavirus, and we must address that.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, so you guys saw that. That was the first. I'll show you guys a second press conference in a minute. But you saw there, that's one side of the issue. Now, the problem that I have is you don't have you have the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. You have the Minority Leader, Chuck Schumer. That's both of those people that were there. And then you have the White House. So you have Stephen Mnuchin and Mark Meadows. But you don't have the Republican Senate side. And so this is what's bothering me about this whole discussion is they're negotiating with the White House. So the Democrats are negotiating with the White House right now. They still need to get this through the Republican Senate and Mitch McConnell. So because Mitch McConnell is not coming in there and work in the same room with them, they're still going to have to go back to Mitch McConnell to try to figure out, hey, can we do this? And so, because understand this, the White House at this point, and I've stated this before, they are on the sidelines. They are not legislators. They can say what they want. They can go in there with the Democrats and say, you know what, we really want this, and we want this, we want that, but they cannot vote. Okay, they're not voting at all. And so, in the two guys that are in the room they're not signing anything either. The president is the only one that would sign off on it. So, the way the situation's looking right now is you have two people that or not two people, but you have two sides that are starting to talk, but then you have the other side, the Republican senators that are not in the discussion. And that's a big problem, because now it's just going to take more time is what I'm saying, because now you're going to have to convey Stephen Mnuchin, Mark Meadows, they're going to have to convey all this information to Mitch McConnell. And then Mitch McConnell is going to have to convey all this information to the Republican senators and try to get the Republican senators on board. So you see how much time it would take. Whereas if you have the majority leader, Mitch McConnell, in on this conversation, sitting at the table, then he can say, you know what? I've talked to some of my senators already. they're on board for this, they're on board for that, and then it would be a much quicker process. But the process that we're looking at now is just, I mean, it's going to take even longer because people are going to have to get the message has to get relayed to everyone else. So, okay, let's go ahead and play the Stephen Mnuchin and Mark Meadows.
The benefit of the American people.
In my conversations with the president late last night and early this morning, he stressed that addressing the enhanced unemployment and eviction protection still needs to be the very top priority. Secretary Mnuchin and I have committed our full schedules to make sure that we can come to some kind of resolution, not just on those items, but as the Secretary was talking about, on a host of other areas, whether it's child care, schools, jobs.
All right, I'm going to cue this back up because it was at the beginning, or it wasn't at the beginning, so I want to start it from the beginning. So give me 1 second here. I want you guys to hear it in its entirety. So let's see here. Okay, here we go.
3.5 hours with the Speaker and Senator Schumer. I think we would also characterize the discussions as the most productive we've had to date. We went through a long list of policy issues on our side, on their side. As we've suggested in the past, there's clearly a subset of issues where we both agree on very much. We're very interested in extending on enhanced unemployment insurance. We're very interested in schools. We're very interested in jobs. I think, as you know, as the leader McConnell has said several times, liability insurance is very important to us. So there's definitely the PPP. There's a lot of bipartisan support. So we discuss both the issues we agree on and the issues we don't agree on. I would characterize this as there's still a lot of work to do. We've agreed that tomorrow the staff will meet and make additional progress, follow up. We have a bunch of specific follow-up items, and then Monday, Chief Meadows and I expect to meet again with them to continue our discussions. It is a priority for the President to make sure that we deal with the issue that unemployment has run out and the rental eviction. So we understand that the Speaker and Senator Schumer want to have an overall deal. So we'll be back here working full-time until we can accomplish something for the benefit of the American people.
In my conversations with the president late last night and early this morning, he stressed that addressing the enhanced unemployment and eviction protection still needs to be the very top priority. Secretary Mnuchin and I have committed our full schedules to make sure that we can come to some kind of resolution, not just on those items, but as the Secretary was talking about, on a host of other areas, whether it's child care, schools, jobs, and making sure that those that are suffering the most, that those immediate needs are addressed. I can say this, that the amount of time that we're willing to invest, both personally and with our staff, it needs to be a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week kind of commitment until we get this done. And the President is checking in literally on an hourly basis to see how we're progressing, and yet it really gets to it's time to make a deal. And if we're going to be able to succeed in this, it's taking what started as probably the first day of a good foundation of productive discussions and building upon those, and until we reach an agreement in hopefully in the next couple of days.
You said on Thursday that you were not very optimistic about the chances of a larger deal in this upcoming week. Has this meeting changed your feeling about?
Well, I think the Secretary mentioned that that it was a productive day. I think both Senator Schumer and Speaker Pelosi would agree with that. We're still a long ways apart, and I don't want to suggest that a deal is imminent, because it is not. But like with any deal, as you make progress, I think it's important to recognize that you're making progress and not set an unrealistic expectation that we're just a few items away, because there's still substantial differences, but we did make good progress.
You've talked about how this process works well when there's a deadline. Unemployment has expired, a bunch of the provisions have expired. So what now is the timeline? What is...
Let me clarify. I never said the process works well when there's a deadline. I said that people tend to be focused when there is a deadline. So let me be clear. We are here and we want to get a deal because specifically the two components that have expired, and that's our priority. There's many other priorities that are in there.
Yeah, I spoke to a young lady by the name of Rashonda yesterday who had had the enhanced unemployment, and my commitment to her, as well as my commitment to all of the Americans that are out there that are hurting right now, is that we're going to stay involved. The reason why we're focused, as the Secretary talked about, is that we're here on a Saturday. We're going to commit as much time as we possibly can, and for every hour past the expiration for a couple of key provisions that happened yesterday, the time is ticking, the clock is ticking, and we need to be expeditious in our negotiations. And I think the Secretary and I, on behalf of the President, are committed to do that. I know he's asking us to not relent in those negotiations until we figure out if we can get a deal or not.
And I would just say the four of us also agree the education issue is something that's very timely. Schools are opening. There are schools that want to open that will need more money for social distancing, PPE. So schools are also another important factor in this. And as the Chief said, we're not going to come back tomorrow only because we thought it would be productive to have the staff, but we will be speaking to both the President on a regular basis and the staff on a regular basis. And as I said, we'll be back here every day until we solve this.
Can you clarify what the White House position is on liability protections being in this? Is it a red line for you as it is for McConnell?
Leader McConnell has made it very clear it's a red line, and he's the one that establishes what goes before his Senate colleagues, and he's made it very clear that liability protection will be in any bill that gets passed, and we support that decision.
Can you ask, is McConnell going to be involved in these discussions?
McConnell is very involved, so we just updated his team. We'll be in touch with him later today. But yes, let me be clear. Both Kevin McCarthy and Mitch McConnell are very involved in everything that we're doing. As I've made this constantly, Mark and I are a team. We check with the President. There's nothing that we're doing that without the support of the President, and we are fully in touch with Kevin and Mitch.
You said the President was checking in almost hourly.
Well, obviously he didn't check in while I was there, so maybe that was a little bit of hyperbole.
Although he did speak before we went in.
I was on the phone literally as we went in,
I think he's on the golf course, right?
and I'm about to call him as soon as we finish here.
Was there any sort of consensus on whether this would be a whole package, as Speaker Pelosi said, walking in, or will there be parts of this?
There's clearly a desire. They've made clear there's clearly a desire on their part to do an entire package. We've made clear that we are willing to deal with the short-term issues and pass something quickly and come back to the larger issues. So we're at an impasse on that.
Like, were there certain things that you guys were able to sort of narrow out some sort of framework, whether it was
I think there were things that we clearly agreed on today that we agree on. And again, I want to be clear, there's still a lot of open issues. But again, I think it was the most constructive meeting we've had. But again, until there's a deal and we get something passed for the American people, it's not done.
You mentioned these, I have no concept of time right now. A few days ago, you mentioned that UI and state and local, and I'm forgetting one other, were the main sticking points. You guys were pretty far apart on those. Have you?
Again, I don't think we're going to comment on the specifics of the negotiation. It's not helpful. I would say, again, as an overall perspective, there's things we agree on. There's things we don't agree on. We're trying to narrow down the things we don't agree on. Obviously, any negotiation is a compromise. I mean, we know we need bipartisan support, and we need the President's support to pass anything. Great. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
All righty. That was a lot, I know, but we're going to talk about it. I wrote down a few things here. So the first thing that we need to talk about is, and you heard Stephen Mnuchin say that they want a short-term bill. And this is the big issue that's going on right now. Should it be a short bill? Should it be that interim bill? And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, watch a video that I posted earlier. When did I post that? Earlier today. So earlier this morning, I posted a video just talking about the short-term bill and how we got to this point and why the Democrats don't want to go with another kind of a short-term solution. They want to go ahead and do a full package. And so you saw that he said that Stephen Mnuchin said we're at an impasse when it comes to that. Now, that's a major part of the negotiation because the Democrats are not budging on that fact. They want a full bill. And like I said, watch the video that I posted, and I will post a link in this video so you guys can so it'll be easier for you to find it. But that's a big issue. That's a huge issue, and that might be what is keeping them from moving forward. So that was one thing. Now, you heard them talking about the involvement, right? And this is, right before playing these videos, I was telling you guys the issues that I have with the whole way that things are being negotiated. And, you know, they're calling the president and the president's calling them and they're calling Mitch McConnell's team, and then they're going to talk to Mitch McConnell later. That's not how a negotiation should be going. Like that's the long, if you want to get something done quickly, then you all sit in the same room. You don't just talk with each other back and forth and not have the key players in the room discussing this. And so there was one part, and this is, you know, I'm going to play a clip from Mitch McConnell in a second, but it's very interesting. And you heard Mark Meadows. He basically, it was funny early on in the press conference. He was saying, yes, you know, the president's been talking with us every hour, and then he was pressed on that, right? One of the people in the press asked him a question as far as like, you know, every hour you're talking to him, and then he was like, and then Mark Meadows was like, no, you know, that's kind of hyperbole. Basically, I'm lying, you know, I'm exaggerating, but I am talking with the president. And then I don't know if you heard this or not. If you're wearing headphones, it's probably easier to hear it. But sometimes the reporters, they kind of get drowned out. But another reporter said, yeah, I think he's on the golf course right now. And you saw Mark Meadows look over to him and then just kind of look away like, you know, I'm not even going to acknowledge that he just said that. But it's like, you know, that's not the right look. Being on the golf course in a situation where you have people that are, you know, a deadline has passed and people aren't going to be getting their unemployment, the enhanced unemployment, and you know, the eviction moratorium, and we're in a pandemic right now where you have people frustrated because there are a lot of people that can't even do some of the luxuries that some politicians have the ability to do because they can get tested and they can be in a bubble where everyone around them is tested, so they can go out and go to restaurants and go to these golf courses and do all these different things. It's not a good look. It's really not a good look for the president to be doing stuff like that. And knowing that there's a negotiation going on, a key negotiation, he's out playing golf. This is just me, and I don't care. I don't care if you like Trump, you voted for Trump, you don't like Trump. It doesn't matter. Just look at leadership. How would you like it if it was your boss or someone like that, and there was a major decision that needed to come down, and you find out that they're not even participating, and they're out doing some kind of luxury activity, and you know, calling every once in a while to find out how it's going. So just think of it along those terms. But the way that I look at it, a true leader in a situation like this, and you have to understand, most of this is going to fall on Trump. In the end, most of it's going to fall on Trump because people are going to they look to the top. Who's on top? Who's not getting all this stuff done? They're not looking at each individual politician. For the most part, they're not. They're looking at the person at the top. And Trump is at the top. And so, in my mind, a true leader in this situation would have called in Mitch McConnell. You can bring in Stephen Mnuchin and Mark Meadows since they've been doing a lot of the negotiating. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer. We're all going to sit in the Oval Office, and we're not leaving this room until we have some key points to move forward next week and get something signed. That's a true leader in my mind. No going out and playing golf, no doing any of this other stuff. You call them in on a Saturday where everybody's upset, right? Because they have to come in on a Saturday. Just think how you feel. Some of us, some people work on a Saturday anyway, but just think if you work Monday through Friday and you have to come in on a Saturday to do work, you're usually not that happy, right? And so call them in, sit them down and say, we're not leaving this room until we come down with the key points. Like we take some of the HEROES Act, we take some of the HEALS Act, we put it all together and we figure out a package. We're not leaving this room until that happens. And if he said that, I can guarantee you something would get done. But that's not what we're seeing. So I want to play this other clip because I thought this was pretty comical here. Let me see. All right, so you guys won't be able to hear me, but I'm just going to play the clip real quick.
Hey, Terry. Glad to be with you.
Are you back in Louisville? Because I know that the Senate has the weekend off.
Yeah, we're out of session until Monday, and looking forward to talking to you.
All right, well.
All right, so I don't know if you caught that. It's just, this amuses me, but so they're not on recess, but they're off for the weekend, and this was Friday. Okay, so this was yesterday that this radio interview happened, and so they pretty much took Friday off. They weren't really doing anything, so it appears Mitch McConnell went back to Kentucky. And he didn't want to say that he went back to Kentucky. So you saw how he kind of skirted around that question, like, hey, you back in Kentucky? And he's like, how did he say it? He said, we're off until whatever. And, it's good to be here. It's like, you didn't answer my question. Are you in Kentucky or are you not in Kentucky? And it's funny because the radio host later on, he said, I think he's in Kentucky. He didn't really say if he was in Kentucky or not. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But like I said, the optics just look bad. So you have, and Mitch McConnell's in Kentucky, because if he wasn't in Kentucky, he would have said, no, I'm still in Washington, D.C. I'm just, trying to figure out, waiting on to hear what's going on when it comes to this package. So obviously he's in Kentucky. He just doesn't want to tell people that he's in Kentucky. But just think of the optics. So you have the president out doing leisure activity, okay? Leisure activities, if he's playing golf, whatever he's doing, he's not in the room trying to negotiate, help the people. Help the people get enhanced unemployment, help this eviction moratorium. And understand, too, when it comes to the eviction moratorium, that's not in the HEALS Act. So this is going to be something that's going to be added to whatever bill comes out. So that wasn't there. But it's interesting to see the president's nowhere to be seen when it comes down to it. He'll come out, he'll bark and say, this, that, we need to do this, that. He needs to be in the room. He is a part of this he should be a part of this whole discussion. And as the leader, he should be bringing in everybody and saying, look, this is getting done. I'm the leader of the Republican Party. I'm the president of the United States. We're not going to leave this room until something gets done. But then you have Mitch McConnell. He's out in Kentucky, and I'm not going to say he's having a good old time, but he's out in Kentucky, and he should be in the room negotiating this down. So it's a sad situation. It really is. And the only thing that I can say that's good about it is it's an election year. and I hope that some of these politicians are held accountable for this, because it's this type of behavior, I think, is juvenile, and it should not be happening. We should not be in a situation where we don't even have everyone who's plays a role in this whole decision making. They're not even in the room, or they're not even tuned in. It's great to have someone call you before a meeting, like they said. Mark Meadows and Stephen Mnuchin said that President Trump called before the meeting, and then they're going to talk to him after the meeting. Well, what about during the whole meeting? Because there's stuff that goes on during that meeting, negotiating, where it's like, okay, you know what? The Democrats say, yeah, this is on the table. This is what we want. This is what we want. If that person's not in the room, which they should be in the room, you could go and call them and say, hey, this is what they're talking about right now. How do you feel about that? Do you think you can, as Mitch McConnell, do you think you can get that through the Senate? These are the kind of conversations that should be happening, but they're just not. All right, so we're gonna go in the chat right now, see what's going on. So I see a lot of people saying purple. I know we've spent half the show talking. I haven't even done any of this, but we'll go ahead and do purple. Purple for the people. All right, that's a true democracy right there. You guys tell me what you want. I see the majority, and the majority wins. All right, so one thing I want to ask you guys to do, as we're right here right now, hit that like button. So if you have not done that, please do that. We're over 1,000 likes, which is great. So every show we've been over 1,000 likes. So we're going to have to start upping that to at least 1,500 likes. So let's see if we can get 1,500 likes. The more likes the video gets, the more YouTube will promote us out. And it's great to be able to get the information out to as many people as possible. That's why I'm always asking you to do that. It's free to do, so please consider hitting that like button. All right, so we'll go ahead and actually I have a few questions that I had here that let me see here if I can pull these up. And you know what? If I move this over, it might not show here. Let me see if I can talk. No. How do I optimize that? Yeah, I don't know how to do it. I'm still learning this system, but there are questions here that I wanted to be able to talk through, like read it while it's on. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can pull this up the way it needs to be here. Let's see. Oh, that's not working. All right, I'm going to have to figure that out in the future because I can't figure it out on the fly. Yeah, that's not working. Yeah, I'll have to figure that out later. I wanted to show you guys some questions, some comments from some previous videos, but I can't read them as they're on the screen, so I'm going to have to figure out how to do that. Once I figure that out, maybe in the next live stream, then I'll be able to just pull it up and read it as we go along. But we can do comments here. So if you guys have questions, just put it in the chat, and I'll make sure I answer those questions. And we have a super chat from Lyndon. Thank you very much. How to get an 800 credit score. Thank you very much. So showing love and respect. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. So if you guys don't know Lyndon from How to Get an 800 Credit Score, not only does he talk about getting improving your credit, but he also talks about stimulus check stuff. So check his channel out. He's got some good content over there. And there are a lot of us out there now that are talking about stimulus check stuff. So he's one that's respected that I would, recommend. I don't recommend too many people, but I do recommend as far as, and when I say recommend, I just mean the content is good content. It's not like some of the content that I've seen out there. It's not always the best. Some people, yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. Some people trick you into watching their videos, which I think is not the right way to go. You should always give good information and not try to mislead people, especially in this time. I mean, people are struggling, really struggling right now. And the last thing you want is to think something's happening. It's like that we've all been in a situation where, let's say your significant other or your family member or something like that, there's Twinkies in the cupboard. there's a box in the cupboard, but there are no Twinkies in there. And you open up the cabinet and you see this box and you're like, oh, there's Twinkies. And you grab the box. There's no Twinkies in there. They tricked me. So, yeah, that happens from time to time. So that's, you want to make sure you give out good content, good information, and don't mislead people. Yeah, that shouldn't be the deal. But all right, let's go ahead and move on. Okay, so if you have a question for me, just put at TEC, and I'll make sure I address those questions. And remember, every morning, 7 a.m., I'll be putting out a video, and then later on that day, I'll probably put out another one, just depending on what's going on. If there's a lot of stuff going on, then I definitely want to put a video out just to keep you guys up to date. It's kind of funny how things are happening now. You're having things happen like in the afternoon, late afternoon. So it's not always happening in the morning. And so usually the morning news is from the night before, and then you have to do 2 videos. That's why I usually would wait a little bit to put out videos. But now I still want to put out on a consistent basis a video at 7 a.m. and then I'll move into the rest of the day. Okay, so any questions for me at TEC or at Travel Explore Click, and I will answer those questions for you guys. Okay. Miss Happy Apple, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for helping out. I really appreciate that. And I did see Lori in the building. Thank you for being here, Lori. And those are 2 of my moderators. I don't know if I saw Dolly in the room today. But, yeah, I appreciate all the help that you guys provide. It really helps out a lot. Let's see. So, and I want to know what you guys think about this too. Just what I was saying about the president not being around, in the sense that, just in my mind, he should be. He could call this all. He could call everyone into the room, and try to hash something out. I think. I mean, I think that could happen, but the urgency doesn't seem to be there, which is it just baffles my mind. And the eviction moratorium that ended last week. That was the 24th. That ended 24th of July, and so it wasn't really mentioned until this week. But that was after the fact. And one thing I do want to mention too, when it comes to the eviction moratorium, and this is something else we need to think about long term. The eviction moratorium just gave you an opportunity to not be evicted. So if you weren't paying your rent, you're not going to be evicted, but you still need to pay that rent. And so let's say you pay $1,000 a month for rent, and 3-4 months have gone by and you haven't paid your rent. They're not able to evict you, but you still owe that $3,000 or that $4,000. And once the moratorium ends, or it's already ended now, but even if they extend it out more or further, you're still going to have to pay that money. And so how is that going to happen? Like, how are you going to be able to do that? Like, how are you going to be able to afford to pay up front $3,000 or $4,000 and then pay that same month's rent? And so that's even more of a reason why the $1,200 that they're talking about as far as the stimulus check and the enhanced unemployment, dropping it down to $200, it's going to be tough for some people that will not be able to pay rent. And it's not just the people that are paying the rent. What about the owners? If it's if you own some property and you've rented that property out, these people aren't able to pay rent. You have to evict them, but guess what? That's $3,000-$4,000 that you're not going to be able to recoup. And so what happens with that whole situation? So it's going to be a domino effect. I don't know how they're going to remedy the whole situation, but it's not. The moratorium is good in the sense that it's allowing people a little bit of room, but ultimately you're still going to need that money, and I don't know if that's necessarily going to be there. Okay, let's move on down here. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and put it in the chat. Okay, and what do you guys think too? There's one more thing I wanted to talk about. So Trump mentioned, he mentioned that, or he was asked a question as far as the $1,200 stimulus check, and he said, yeah, he wants it to be larger than that. Trump is not being specific about anything, right? And we've seen this happen before, where he will say something, not be specific, and then just hope that it goes away and he doesn't have to answer that question anymore. So he continues to say he wants it to be larger. He's not giving us an amount when it comes to stimulus check. And so, he's just saying that just because he wants us to, he's just trying to appease us, or is he really actively talking with Mark Meadows and Stephen Mnuchin to get a higher stimulus check? And you noticed during that whole press conference on both sides, they really didn't address the stimulus checks as far as an amount or anything like that. So that's kind of on the back burner right now, unfortunately. And what they're focused on is the enhanced unemployment and the eviction moratorium. So it's my hope that they put everything in one bill, because if you start breaking it up and you start doing these short bills, then we could be in a situation where that stimulus check just gets pushed off. And they're going on recess. Let's talk about the timeline right now. So the House officially would have started their recess today, officially. Nancy Pelosi says that they're going to forego their recess, so they're going to be there until something gets decided, and so that's good. Nancy Pelosi stepped up, said, you know what, we're foregoing recess. Now, the senators, Mitch McConnell has not indicated yet if they're going to forego recess. So what that means is August 7th will be their last day. So next Friday will be their last day if they do not forego recess, and they won't return until September. So we could be in a situation where, let's say they go on recess. We don't know if that's going to happen, but they could go on recess without anything decided. Just go on. I really can't see this happening. If this happens, I would be completely shocked. But I mean, it's possible, right? It's possible, and that's why I said at this point there should be some urgency from the president. When I say urgency, not just talk. And we saw the president talk yesterday. I don't want to hear just talk. I want to see action. I want to see you in the room. I want to see you participating in this whole discussion. Not just saying, oh, you know what, Mark Meadows, Steve Mnuchin, go handle these people for me. I want to see you in the room. I want to see you making that sacrifice, not being out enjoying your the beautiful summer. I want you to be in that same room. And when it comes to Mitch McConnell, the same thing. He's not showing urgency. He's not there. He's not even in D.C. right now. So, next week is it. If nothing gets resolved next week, we could potentially see the Senate go on recess and not come back until September. And so that'll be another month before we get to any type of resolution when it comes to another stimulus package. And so that's what we're looking at right now. I'm hoping, we're looking at a situation where you have one side, you have the House saying, you know what, we're going to forego our recess, we're going to stay here. I cannot see the Senate saying, no, you know what, we're going to go on recess. You guys don't want to work with us, we're going to go ahead and go on recess. I can't see that happening. Obviously, it's possible. And if it does, man, this is going to be a crazy election. I should have ran for office. People tell me in the comments all the time, you should run for office. I should have ran for office because I think everybody in Congress is going to get booted out because this is crazy. All right, let's see. All right. Yeah, and I see a lot of discussion, Democrat, Republican, vote Joe Biden, vote Trump, all this stuff. Just look at the situation. That's all I'm saying. Put party aside. Just like I said, think of it as your boss. Is this the kind of behavior you want your boss? I mean, how would you look at this type of behavior from your boss? You're trying to get stuff done. They call you into work on a Saturday. You're sitting at work on a Saturday, and your boss is out playing golf, or your boss left town and went to his hometown, and he's calling every once in a while to see how things are going back in the office while you're there trying to get things done. Just think of the optics there. I mean, it's just, yeah. So you can take party out of it. Just look at the situation. And I'm sure if you look at the situation, you're going to be like, yeah, you know what? I don't think that's the right move. And I think things should be getting done. Lead by example, right? And yeah. Okay, let's see here. And who's that? So Daniel's asking about a filibuster. So basically, filibuster, the Senate will stall. And they can filibuster as long as they want, really. And it very rarely ever happens. But if you don't have a filibuster, like if you don't have enough votes, then they have the right to filibuster. Just grandstand, come on the Senate floor, and I'm telling you, they will read a phone book or something like that just to stall and keep from having the bill get passed. That's only when they're really, really adamantly against a bill. This situation, we have about between 15 and 20 Republican senators that are opposed to another stimulus package, period. And this is coming from Mitch McConnell. He's saying this. And so because of that, I don't know if they're that adamantly against it to the point where they would filibuster it and try to stall. But it could possibly happen where they could stall it out. So basically, they're just going to continue to stall, and it will never get passed. And then eventually, both sides will just get tired and they'll move on. I don't think that situation would happen, but yeah, that's what the filibuster is, and it's only in the Senate. The House doesn't have that. They can't filibuster. Nancy says, thank you for your info. Thank you very much, Nancy. I appreciate you stopping by and checking out the live stream. Okay, let's go ahead and move forward and see if we can't get to any other questions here. Rebecca, you got purple. And there's a lot of people saying purple, so we'll go with purple today. Although I don't like that color purple, like when it comes to when I watch other videos and I see people have purple in the background, it's like, that's not really, I don't know, it doesn't really, I mean, it's a nice color on its own, but like in the background of it looks, I don't know. It looks weird to me. But hey, you guys want it, we'll do it. All right, let's see. Oh, yeah. So, and Patty's saying this. Oh, man, I just lost my place. I'm going to paraphrase what Patty was saying because I just lost it. Just lost the comment. So she was just saying that instead of that reporter asking, how did she say it? Patty, where is that question? Instead, I think I can't find the question, but instead of the reporter asking, is Mitch McConnell like on board when it comes to the stimulus package, the question should have been, where is he? Why is he not in the room? And that's true. Like, where is he? He should be in that room. I mean, this is common sense stuff, and the thing is, I think we have allowed politicians to kind of just do what they want. And I won't say kind of do what they want. We've allowed politicians to do what they want, and we don't hold them accountable. And so, of course, they don't see anything wrong with people losing their enhanced unemployment. They don't see anything wrong with, hey, I'm going to go home and enjoy the weekend with my family. And when I say go home, I don't mean just go to my home in Washington, D.C. I mean, I'm going to go to Kentucky and hang out and enjoy a nice barbecue. And like the president, I'm going to go and go play some golf. That sounds like a good thing to do instead of working. So I think because we've allowed politicians to kind of do what they want, and we're not really checking them on situations like this, they don't see anything wrong with it, and that's why they're doing it. And it's, you know, it's noticeable now only because we're all kind of on pins and needles waiting to see, are we going to get $1,200 stimulus check? Are they going to, extend enhanced unemployment? Are we, as a business, a lot of small businesses are really paying attention because they need the money right now, and they're looking at the EIDL loans, they're looking at PPP loans. Another thing too, PPP, that expires next week. So that's going to be something else that's going to be on the table that will expire next week if nothing gets done. Yeah, this is crazy. It really is. All right, we have a super chat. LT, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. I appreciate you too. Thank you very much. Nice little pictures of your daughters there. All right, let's see. Anything else going? Okay, this guy's giving me a bill here, reference. I have no idea what that Senate bill is, man. The Senate bill, the number, if that's the HEALS Act, then we've already talked about that plenty, but I don't know what Senate bill that is. Look, I know a lot, but I don't, I'm not that into it where I know all the different Senate bills. But if you're more specific there, if I do have information, I can share that with you about that bill. All right. So like I said again, if you have a question for me, just put @TEC. We're coming down to the bottom of the questions. We'll be on for another 5 minutes. I don't want to make it too long. Let's see. Let's see. Star is saying that other YouTubers are saying that we're getting money in August. Is that a lie? No. Okay. So there are no lies. No one knows. That's the thing. So people are anticipating. Other YouTubers or just people in general are anticipating. Okay. Well, you know what? If we get this signed, or if we get this approved by the Senate before they go on recess, before August 7th, if it goes through the Senate and gets approved and goes through the House and gets approved and gets to the president's desk, then we'll probably see something by the end of August. If it gets done this coming week. Now, if that doesn't happen, then of course we're pushing it back. So there are no guarantees, and that's why I will never say confirmed. I hate that word. Hate's a strong word. I do not choose to use the word confirmed until I actually know that this is confirmed. It's coming. Until when President Trump is sitting in the Oval Office and he's signing off on the next stimulus package, that's when it has been confirmed. So that's you'll see a lot of that. People are saying confirmed and stuff like that. I don't like to use that word. It's just not. It's telling people that something is happened that has not happened yet. Let's see. So as of right now, we don't know, but if they can get their act together, we still have time. The way that most people are looking at this is it's going to take 2 weeks before we receive the first round of checks go out, and that's based on what happened the last time. So last time, March 27th, the CARES Act was passed, and then we start seeing checks around April 15th, and so that's kind of the way that they're basing their information. So it takes about 2 weeks. Now it might be a little shorter, just because they already have our information, and if they go with kind of the same model as the CARES Act, well, guess what? We can receive it earlier, right? Because it seems like all they need to do is push a button and we could receive checks. But we'll have to see how they roll that out. Okay, so Grace is asking for human resource recruiters in the chat. I don't know if there are any, but you know what, Grace? What you need to do is join our Discord. So we have a stimulus check Discord, and I'm always unprepared when it comes to these links. Let me see if I'll pull up the link real quick and post it in the chat. And what we'll do, it's 8 o'clock now, so before 9 o'clock, we're going to do a giveaway. It's going to be a $50 giveaway. I'm giving away my stimulus check. I have about $400 left. So we're going to do that. It's going to be a $50 giveaway. You have to have a Cash App, okay? And we'll do that over on the Discord. And I'm going to post a link right now as soon as I can pull it up. Now, when it comes to the Discord, when it comes to the link, first off, when it comes to the link, you can find the link in the description of this video. So you don't have to, if you're not catching this video live and you catch it right after it's live, just check the description and you'll be able to find the link. It's about halfway down. I have a large paragraph, couple of paragraphs before it, and then you'll see 3 little phones. When you find those 3 little phones, or 2 little phones or something like that, then the link is right below that. Just click on that. I'm trying to pull this up as I talk with you guys. Let's see here. And I need to have this ready the next time. I always do the same thing. I'm always looking. It's when you're recording a show, there's so many things I'm thinking about, and then there's always that one thing that you forget, and it's like, oh man, I forgot that. But we'll get it here. All right, so here is the link. Well, here is the link. So just check that out. Click on that link. The Discord is free. You just get in there, sign up, and come into our Discord. And like I said, we'll be doing a giveaway by 9 o'clock. Okay. When you get into the room, you can ask someone when you get in the room, where do I go? But there's a stimulus check update room. It'll be on the left-hand side. You'll see stimulus check update. Just click on that room. That's where we'll be hanging out, and that's where we'll do the giveaway. But yeah, we'll do that. But if you want more information as far as recruiters and stuff like that, I can't guarantee you there's someone in there that's a recruiter. I would like to get more and more people from different walks of life that are in there. That would be great. So if there is a recruiter or someone that knows about jobs and stuff like that, please post that stuff in our Discord to help people out. I think that would be good. Maybe I'll have a section. I can create another room that's just for job openings. I think, you know what? I think that would be a really good idea. I'm going to do that. So we can just post job openings, stuff that you see maybe on the internet and stuff like that. We can post those. I think that would be a really good idea. All right, we're going to move through real quick here. Yeah. And so Devin's saying 20 Republicans are against the HEROES Act. No. I would say 53 Republicans. I say all the Republicans in the Senate are against the HEROES Act. I think it's safe to say that. Mitch McConnell is saying 15 to 20 Republicans are against another round of stimulus checks and another stimulus package. That's where they are right now. So that's the discussion, because the HEALS Act, not all the Republicans are on board for the HEALS Act. And so he's saying about 15 to 20 are not in agreement when it comes to that. And Mitch McConnell is kind of he's kind of stepped back. Like he's telling senators, you guys can kind of do what you think is necessary as far as, and this is crazy because I mentioned this last week, and the fact that they're not supporting the president the way that they used to. They used to be on board, like, hey, president says this, okay, yeah, we're going to try to make it happen. But you see some of these Republicans are distancing themselves from the president right now. And we saw it with the payroll tax cut. And it's funny because Trump put a tweet out today about the payroll tax cut. I'll talk about that later. There are a couple of videos that I want to put out, so I'm going to discuss that at a later date. But yeah, he did put something out there about that when we already knew, like, that's not on the table, but now he's kind of putting it back out there. This is another thing that I think is kind of frustrating. The fact that you don't have the key player in the room, so you don't have Mitch McConnell in the room, and then you also have Trump and the White House putting out different things, changing the message. Changing you have the HEALS Act. They're trying to negotiate the HEALS Act, and then the president's talking about the eviction moratorium, which is not in the HEALS Act. So it's like, okay, well, you're putting that out there now. That's a whole another thing that they have to discuss. Oh yeah. You know what? What about the eviction moratorium. So now they're trying to pull that in. So it's one of those things where you're trying to negotiate one thing, and then you have someone in the background throwing out these different things. And so today he put the payroll tax cut in a tweet. And so what does that mean? Is that a red line again? Is he now saying that this payroll tax cut needs to be in this next package? Yeah, I don't know. All right, here we go. Let's see. All right, guys. So you guys have the link, right? We'll put it up one more time. Go over there, join the Discord. I think I posted it, right? My chat freezes sometimes. It just froze. Okay. I think I just posted the link. Let me post it one more time. There it goes. All right. So make sure you guys join the Discord, and we'll be giving away $50. So you might have an opportunity, or you'll have an opportunity to win. Okay. Knowledgeable King. What's going on? $2 super chat. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Indeed, posting the same jobs, but now less pay. Yeah, that's another issue too. That's another issue. And I mean, you got to look at the businesses. They're struggling. So, and they're struggling, and their numbers are down when it comes to products sold and a variety of different things. And some of them are now they're hiring people, but they're hiring them at a lesser wage, which is another issue, right? Okay. All right, guys. Looks like we're down to the bottom here. So, as I stated before, thank you guys all for stopping by. Thank you guys all for your support. I really, really, really appreciate it. It really helps out to be able to come on here and chat with you guys and pick your brain, because another good thing about live streams is I can kind of pick your brain and see how you guys feel about certain things, and it's instant. It's not one of those things where I have to read the comments to find out. Like, I can ask a question and instantly you can tell me how you feel about a certain thing. I can ask you, hey, what color do you want in the background? You guys can tell me. So I like that interaction. Yeah, so that's a good thing. Let's see, we had a couple questions here. Lisa's saying I have no money for the super chat. You guys do not need to send super chats. You really don't. If it's your money, I get it. If you want to send a super chat to show appreciation, that's fine. You do not have to do that. Just being here, hitting that like button, that shows me all the support that I need. That keeps me going, because, hey, you know what? We're human beings, right? And when I look and I say, oh, look at all these people like my video, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like the time that I spent getting this stuff all organized and everything, it paid off. So that's the biggest thing that you can give me. Super chats are great, but hitting that like button means even more. Subscribing to that channel means even more, because you're showing me support. So that's what I like. So don't feel bad. Don't feel bad, Lisa. What's Justin saying? Who is this guy? Recommended by YouTube. I don't know what you mean, man. Talking about me? Who am I? All right, guys. We're gonna have to get out of here, because I can be on here forever. So like I said, 7 a.m. I'll have a new video out for you guys every day at 7 a.m. And then if anything happens, like tomorrow is a good example. 7 a.m. I'll put a video out. Sunday, you have the Sunday talk shows. So we might hear something Sunday. We might hear some different things going on. I'm sure President Trump is going to probably let us know more about this whole payroll tax cut tweet that he put out. He might have changed his mind. So we'll probably hear some more about that tomorrow. So I might be putting out a video later tomorrow as well. All right, guys. So go over to the Discord by 9 o'clock. So less than an hour. We're going to be doing a giveaway. So you guys are going to want to be over there for that. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.